You ever play Fallout New Vegas? Yes, sir. Mr. House for the win. He had a vision. Favorite chess player of all time, Nimzowitz. Doctor is going to get a blood sample if you go to the hospital. They can't rely on a CGM. Even if they can't rely on it for clinical applications, you can rely on it for steering applications, because the odds are that while it might be not sensitive or accurate enough for a diagnosis of a disease, it can give you a general direction. It's kind of like a scale. So your scale at home is probably not as accurate as the scale at the doctor's office, probably not as accurate as a DEXA scan, probably not as accurate as even more sophisticated way of looking at body composition. But it's not the case that the scale at home is going to say 150 pounds, but the DEXA scan is going to say 220. They're going to be close to each other, but you get more information and more interesting information, intricate information with the DEXA, like your visceral fat and the extracellular water and these other things that matter, the muscle to fat to ratio, these types of things. So you look at CGM as a steerer, and then you can start looking at specific questions like when I eat this food type versus this food type, do I get a substantial spike in my glycemic index? Just like suddenly my insulin go way up and my glucose levels are really high, these types of things. And so, for example, if I go take a spoonful of table sugar versus eating some broccoli, what does this do to my blood sugar and how dramatic is it? And I suspect there's pretty strong genetic and microbiome components to these things. So everybody's different in that respect. And it's entirely possible that somebody could eat a carrot and not have a strong response, and other people eat it and have a much stronger response. And that means a lot, because certain foods that raise those indices, they also tend to raise your ghrelin. They tend to raise a lot of other things. And what that translates to is more hunger, more weight gain, and also more of the macros get converted to fat. And so it's much harder to meet your diet goals in a sense. So CMG, with some cleverness behind it, is a good steering tool to help you figure out metabolically what's going on. It's not a steering tool to diagnose, which is why you have to go deeper and find out more. So as with all tools, it's about how you use the tools. How will we manage to reduce global CO2 emissions if steak is so delicious? Plant-based meat, the solution, or carbon capture? Carbon air capture powered by nuclear power. You told us about your Black Hawk. Now tell us about your boat. Well, that's very easy. I don't own a boat. Would you rather eat dog crap or shake Anthony Fauci's hand? Could I put the dog crap on Fauci's hand? I'm just looking at my boundaries here. Charles, it's hospital policy is why you can't use it. It's likely more accurate than the hospital's glucometer. Could be right, but let's be fair. There are plenty of tests that they can run that give you a lot more information. It's like when you're looking at thyroid stimulating hormone, right? You can run a whole panel on these things and get very deep. Are you Trump or Biden? Just curious. I vote libertarian, guys, so I'm so far away from that. Talk about Mr. Tippers. Mr. Tippers is having a great day. Just got picked up. He's actually heading up to Wyoming right now. Is your restaurant open? No. Nessie's will not be open until next year. It's very hard to source contractors in Wheatland, Wyoming, but we are definitely working on it. I got my first design video from the architect and the interior designer, and it looks really good. There's a lot of work we're doing on the atrium. We're actually going to hang originally I wanted the plesiosaur in the basement with the neck coming up, but we're actually going to hang the plesiosaur in the atrium. And you're drinking whiskey, you can look up at it, and the people on the first floor can look out the window at the plesiosaur coming at them, which also allows us to put a waterfall that goes into kind of a crude lake that we put in. So a lot of progress on it, and we're really moving forward. It's just there's a lot that's going into the restaurant, and it's really hard to source labor. Plus, we have to train the staff, and it's going to take at least 6 months to train the chefs to know how to cook Scottish food. Do you prefer pellet grills or charcoal smokers? I have a Traeger. What kind of a restaurant is Nessie's, the Loch Ness Monster restaurant? Nessie's, the restaurant that is inspired by the Loch Ness Monster. What is your favorite gun of all time? I have this Glock 19 that's from Shadow Systems. Absolutely amazing. Although there's this 1911 that's got this staccato slide on it that's just fucking cool. A lot of fun. Good to run a speed drill with on steel. Dislike trigger safety. You guys. You've ever had a breathalyzer in your car? No. I don't even drink, guys. Does Nessie serve plesiosaur meat? No. Will you play Baldur's Gate 3? Of course I will. Those guys are great. Liar. But what? All right, looks like we'll cut it here. Let's see if there's any final questions. Here we go. This is a good way to end it. Have you ever bought porn at the truck stop in Chugwater? This guy knows his pornography and his truck stops. Right above the fucking Lex Friedman. I didn't even know Lex is still watching. All right, I'll give Lex the final one. No, but there's a milkshake shop in Chugwater that is absolutely phenomenal. They have a soda fountain that's been there for over 100 years. Best milkshakes you'll ever have. Baldur's Gate 3, if real, I'm in. It is real. Larian Studios is making it early release. One of the best soundtracks you'll ever listen to. for a video game, and I really did enjoy it, and it's just great and magical. Problem with early release is that you get hooked, and then they kill your dog. You're just getting into it, and then the game ends. But they've been releasing it patch by patch. They're at about patch 8, I think, and I think the full game will probably come out next year. But it's really shaping up to be something phenomenal and special. And it exceeded my expectations, where they actually managed to take something inspired by a prior art and make it better in a certain respect, and modernize it in a certain respect. And they still kept the soul of what made the Divinity series really good and Baldur's Gate really good. So highly recommend it. And those guys are phenomenal. And actually, you should definitely see if you can get the head of the studio on your podcast, because he really gets game development like John does and the others do. And they just get RPG development as well. And they've just had so many phenomenal hits and beautiful worlds and beautiful storytelling and so forth. So, as Paul Harvey likes to say, that's the rest of the story. Thank you guys for listening. It has been a very, very, very long day for me. I am going to go sleep for the weekend. Until next time,